Hello y'all and welcome to our channel. My name is Vicki Ann and today we're going to be taking you to the Baker Arboretum in Bowling Green, Kentucky. We happened to be down there last weekend to celebrate our granddaughter's graduation from high school. And so on Saturday morning we got out and went over to the Baker Arboretum. We'd been wanting to go there for a long time, but just did not have the opportunity. We love to go to gardens, so this sounded like something we would really enjoy doing. I want to tell you a little bit about the Baker Arboretum as you're seeing these beautiful scenes. The founder of the Arboretum was Jerry E. Baker. He passed away in 2017. But in 1990, he started acquiring land that adjoined his residence on the outskirts of Bowling Green. And according to the information at the museum and on their website, he loved horticulture and he also loved arts. So what he did, he put a museum in the center of the Arboretum. And I'm going to show you that next week, and it's called the Downing Museum. But to get back to the Arboretum, he hired a landscape architect and he built stone walls to create large beds to hold the growing conifer and Japanese maple collections. And I noticed as we walked through here that there were just lots of Japanese maples, and they were different types of Japanese maples. And then I noticed the conifers were prolific throughout the garden and they looked so pretty. They were, according to the website, they were purchased all around the country from Oregon to Maryland. And he also got a lot of plant stock from a lot of notable Kentucky gardens. The Arboretum now covers about 115 acres. And it also has dogwoods, magnolias, and other flowering trees. Several seating areas, such as one that you just saw. And I thought this was a neat flower bed here. If you'll notice, those are onions planted around the outskirts of this garden. And then you'll see some artwork in the background there. There's another one of the Japanese maples. But a lot of the walkways, the majority of them were made of this stone like this, and I thought that was real pretty. And then you would walk out into the large open spaces. So in a way it was kind of like rooms, going from one area or one room into another room. I'll have to say that this is different from most of the gardens that we've been to, in the fact that it has as its center a museum. And then there's also his home that's still here, and I think they use it for to hold different events at. And I thought this was a real pretty. I love the leaves on this. Then there were sculptures that you will see shortly that are featured throughout the garden. And I know very little about conifers. I'm more interested in flowers and local trees. But I really like this. You can see a picture there of the museum on the outside. And also we are videoing this with permission from the Arboretum. the workers are so nice here. They'll answer questions and they give you an overview of the gardens and the museum when you go in. Oh, and I forgot to mention that this is completely free. There is no charge to go to either the museum or the gardens, and that is very unusual in itself. And those walls, look at those stone walls, they are just phenomenal. And they have lots of resting space up here to sit and just look out and enjoy the view. And they have succulents too. You'll see those in a few moments. I like this tree. And even the chairs were just gorgeous. There's the succulents. In fact, I don't think I have ever been to a garden that featured succulents. You can get a good view there, or that part of Bowling Green from there. You can see that it steps down and there's different levels to it. And most of the potted plants are in like the squares that you see there. You can tell that someone with a very artistic flair worked in developing this. And this whole place has just been in existence for, say, 31 years. And when you think about all the plants that are there, the large plants that are growing, they have come a long way in a short amount of time. And you can tell that they are still expanding at this time. They're continuing to grow. But when I go to a place like this, I'm so enamored with the beauty of the place and with the plants, with the trees, with the walkways, and discovering what's around the next bend, or where does this go. You just want to spend your whole day just finding out every little nook and cranny that they've hidden sculptures or really neat plants in. But if you get a chance, you really need to come by and check this out. It would definitely be worth the effort to come to Bowling Green to see this beautiful garden. And they're open from April to October, Tuesday through Saturday from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. and then from November to March, Tuesday through Saturday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. They're always closed on Sundays. And now to go on with our tour. This is the steps that go down from the museum. And there's usually people taking pictures here, I'm assuming from the people that we saw while we were there. So bring your camera. This is another of my favorite places that I saw as we were going through the garden. I love the little pond. It was such a sweet feature with the water lilies. Enclosed in this beautiful wall. So we walked up and around. And kind of crept down this little path here. And we went on over, and I glanced in the distance, and there was Frog Hollow. And if there's anything I like to see in gardens, it's sculptures of frogs. They kind of just always give you a little boost. And here was a fine sculpture of a frog, just sitting there waiting to have a chat with you. I thought this tree was interesting. Just every way you turn, there were something interesting to see. And look at those posts where you start to walk down the steps there. There were some peonies there. And I really liked the ferns. Now they had those growing all around the trees down here. And this was another favorite spot of mine in the garden. This is the reflection garden. And there were so many things I liked about it. I liked the tubs the trees were in, and I particularly liked this little tree here, flowering tree. I thought that was so pretty. And then the seating, it was just such a good place to just sit and watch the water and just think about that beautiful place. There's a little memorandum for Jerry Baker and his dogs. Then here's a pear tree. It's a Kiefer pear. And I love the way they've trained it up against that wall. And then the really nice fountain. The little seals at the bottom. Those are so cute. And in this one, it was almost like you were in a room and then you were looking out to all the trees outside. And you can see those conifers, you can see the different, there's just so many different looks to them. Some are really low growing and some soar very tall. And you can see the little roads there you can ease on through and just kind of go exploring on your own. They had a lot of the hanging trees that the limbs would just hang down. There's a lot of layers in that tree. Such pretty blooms. That looks to be like some type of holly. Here was another little statue of a little boy on a turtle. Now what about a view like that? Isn't that gorgeous? And then this is the end of the day and the end of the tour. So I hope you've enjoyed this tour of the garden, and I hope you will join us next week when we tour the museum. May God bless you and your family.